Hello everyone, my name is Theophilus, I'm a poet, and I'm the author of Commonwealth, a new book of poems that will be published by Carcanet Press on 29th May 2025. I'm really excited to be telling you a little bit more about this book today, and I've chosen to record this video in the quiet residential neighbourhood of Tanglin Halt in Queenstown, Singapore. All around me you can see housing blocks that were the early blueprints of a site that's ubiquitous in Singapore today, that of the high-rise housing where a majority of Singaporeans live, including my wife and I. We are also just a stone's throw away from Commonwealth Drive, a street that, along with Commonwealth Avenue, runs straight through some of Singapore's oldest housing estates, and also forms the backdrop to the title poem of this book, Commonwealth. I'll be attempting to answer two questions in today's video. The first is, how did this neighbourhood of Commonwealth become such a central part of my life and of the poems in this book? And second, how the wider historical and cultural geography of Singapore also provide their backdrop to many of the other poems. I'll dive right in. The year is 1968, and my mother is 3 years old. Along with her family, she lives in the village of Bukit Ho Swee, where it's primarily low-rise housing with roofs of atap and zinc. Tragedy strikes in the form of a fire, and the family is relocated by the authorities to a place called Commonwealth Crescent. Now, although Commonwealth Crescent is only a 10-minute drive away from Bukit Ho Swee, everything changes with this change. From where they find their daily needs and necessities, to their sense of community itself. For many of them and their neighbours, it's the first time that they are living in high-rise housing. They move again afterwards, and again, first to this estate, Tanglin Halt, and then further on to other neighbourhoods in the vicinity of the Commonwealth area, from Alexandra to Delta. Each time, this is a sort of micro-migration that becomes familiar to them as well as to the lives of many other Singaporeans. Some of us move as a result of a coming of age. Others move when the flats and neighbourhoods that they are used to are redeveloped in order to make way and make room for an ever-expanding population. Now I have with me an advanced proof copy of the book, Commonwealth, and just flipping through the pages, it strikes me how many of these poems try to recreate either a sense of rootedness in one of these ever-changing neighbourhoods, or a sense of departure and discovery that one feels when one has to move. Now, not all the poems in here are physically set in Commonwealth, of course. You will also find poems that refer to places and incidents elsewhere in Singapore, where I found just an echo of that endless cycle of uprooting and putting down roots that have become synonymous with life in Singapore. The stories and poems here also speak to a larger awareness, that of the impacts of colonial and post-colonial rule that have shaped almost every large city in the world. The poems in here are fundamentally about what it means to be truly rooted and at home in a city that keeps changing around us. Now, needless to say, I'm very excited to share these poems and this book with all of you. So keep a lookout for details on the launch that I'll be doing both in the UK and here in Singapore, events in London, Oxford, Cambridge and Edinburgh, as well as events right here in Singapore later on in the summer. You'll be able to find details on all of these things both on the Carcanet website as well as my own social platforms. Keep yourselves posted, come say hi, and I can't wait to see you this summer. Bye!